Going on a cruise, it can be the experience of a lifetime. Now, whether you're already a seasoned cruiser or if this is your first time looking into it, you need to watch this video as I'll go through 10 important tips to consider when booking your cruise. Hi, Melissa here at Ready to Go, where we discuss tips and resources to help you plan your very own travels and create unforgettable memories and experiences. Okay, this year the cruise industry is booming. Most major cruise lines are breaking all previous booking records as they roll out brand new ships with unique layouts and activities on offer. As examples, we have Virgin Voyages, a relative newcomer to the market with its adults-only ships. Celebrity's Apex class ships have the Magic Carpet and Infinite Veranda cabins. Carnival has entered the mega ship game with the Mardi Gras and Celebration. And of course, we have Royal Caribbean building the largest ships in the world, including top-tier entertainment with its Oasis class and upcoming Icon class. You also have more luxury brands such as Silver Sea, Regent Seven Seas, and Cunard, and many, many more cruise lines. Can you believe that in 2023, there are currently 322 cruise ships operating worldwide? With all these options, choosing the cruise line, ship, cabin, and services that are right for you can be a bit of a daunting task. So what we want to do today is go over 10 items to consider while you're selecting and booking your cruise. And everyone, if you've already got a cruise book, please let us know in the comments below the cruise line, the ship, and the itinerary you'll be going on. Now stay tuned, as at the end of this video, as a bonus, because I always have a bonus, I'll give you 5 key items to pack that are specific to cruising. So I don't know if it's fully visible, but I am wearing my Royal Caribbean t-shirt, which I got last year on Wonder of the Seas during its inaugural season sailing. Which brings us to our first point, choosing the right cruise line and the right ship for you. So the first thing you want to ask is, who are you going with and what is the occasion of the trip? Is this a couples cruise, a solo cruise, a family trip? Is it a party trip with friends? Some cruise lines are more family friendly, such as Disney and Norwegian, while others offer adults-only cruises, such as Virgin Voyages. Carnival, as is well known, has more of a party vibe. If you love watching shows and participating in a lot of activities, then you may want to look at Royal Caribbean. Or maybe you want something quieter and relaxing all around, in which case you may want to look at lines such as Princess or Holland America. There really are lines and ships for every type of cruiser and every age group. Next thing you want to do is you want to determine whether your priority is to go on a specific itinerary or whether it's really all about the cruise ship experience. Generally, the newer and larger ships will visit the most commercially accessible port areas, such as the Caribbean or the Mediterranean during the summer season. Now, if you're looking for a more specialized itinerary, for example, the Panama Canal or Alaska, then cruise lines will have most likely smaller ships that can easily access those waterways. Tip number 2, get a travel agent who specializes in cruising. A cruise travel agent will help you select the right type of ship, cabin, and itinerary based on your preferences. They'll also recommend cabin types, explain the different service offerings available, and handle any issues that may arise. Travel agents can also sometimes provide you with additional savings and onboard credit, all at no extra cost to you. Now, one important point I like to mention is that a travel agent should not be charging you a separate booking fee, as they already earn commission from all the various cruise lines they book with. So that's something you may want to validate in advance. Now, there are also sites such as vacationstogo.com where you can shop for your cruise online, choose a deal, and then call their service line, and they will assign you to a live agent. A little known fact, if you prefer to do all your own research, to book online directly on the cruise line's website, as I like to do, you can always transfer that booking to a travel agent within 30 days so that they can handle it from there. Number 3, cabin selection. Location, location, location. Front, middle, aft, lower decks, higher decks. There are so many options. Now, first, whether you're booking on your own or with a travel agent, you definitely want to have a deck map to look at before selecting your cabin. Now, ideally, you want to be located a little further from busy areas such as bars or swimming pools. So where can you find deck maps? Well, you definitely have them on the cruise line's website or app. There's also a site called cruisedeckplans.com where you can find not only deck maps, but also cabin tours for over 200 different cruise ships. Now you want to pay attention to what is on the deck above and below the cabin you're selecting. Now, if a little noise and exact location are not deal breakers for you, on some lines you can save quite a bit of money by choosing what they call a guaranteed cabin category. In this case, you just select the category and the cruise line will assign you an exact room at a later date. What's important to know is if you select a guaranteed cabin category, you may not find out the exact room number you're assigned to until it gets much closer to your actual sailing date. Now, if you tend to have motion sickness, the best location would be to have a cabin that is midship and on lower decks. People with cabins at the very front of the ship tend to feel movement if the ocean is choppy, but of course the upside is that they always have an awesome view. Now, in general, cabins on large cruise lines come in 4 different categories. Interior cabins are usually the least expensive and do not have any type of window. Then you have ocean view cabins with a window, balcony cabins, and on the upscale side, of course, you have suites. Now, if you're traveling with children, most cabins on resort-style ships can sleep up to 4 people and include a queen-size bed and a pull-out couch or bunk bed. Now, as a family, you may also want to consider getting connecting cabins instead of a larger cabin, as you'll not only have more space, but you'll also get a second bathroom. Now, if you're traveling as a family and you do have 4 people in one cabin, one little hack that I found is that on most ships, you can use the showers that are in the gym. Now, very few people use these and they're much bigger than the showers in your cabin. So that can be a little hack if you're traveling as a family in one single cabin. Now, you can easily find video tours of the different cabins right here on YouTube. Number 4, and this is probably the most discussed topic on most cruise chat rooms, and that is, should I get a drink package? So the answer to that is that it really depends, and it's really based on how many drinks you have and what you drink every day. Now, when we talk about drinks packages, we're not only talking about alcoholic beverages and cocktails. Most cruises will offer a selection of complimentary drinks such as filtered water, coffee, tea, milk, and fountain juices. A drink package will usually cover offerings beyond those complimentary drinks, such as specialty coffees like espresso or a latte, freshly squeezed juices, alcoholic drinks, non-alcoholic cocktails, and sodas. Now, the price of a drink package can vary greatly, not just between cruise lines, but also throughout time with the same cruise line and the same ship. So cruise lines tend to use what we call dynamic pricing. Dynamic pricing means that prices can fluctuate and are adjusted constantly based on demand and other factors. The price of a drink package can go up or down, and there can be promotions at any time. The best drinks package calculator I found online is at cruisely.com, so you may want to check that one out. So the drinks package calculator they have on Cruisely applies to 6 different cruise lines: Carnival, Celebrity, Norwegian, Princess, Royal Caribbean, and MSC. So let's say we select Celebrity. And what's important to note is that you have the basic cost of the drink package and then gratuity is added to it. So in this case for Celebrity, it's a cost of $106.80 USD per day with the gratuity. So we'll select this one. Then they'll ask you the estimated drinks per day. Estimate the number of beers, cocktails, and other drinks you plan to drink every day. So in my case, I don't really drink beer. Cocktails, okay, I'm gonna get, adventurous and select 3 cocktails per day. Glasses of wine, let's say I'll put 2, and non-alcoholic drinks. Let's say we put 3 of those per day, and that can include, as I mentioned, specialty coffees, freshly squeezed juices, and sodas. Based on your estimates, you'll spend the following amount on drinks per day before gratuity. $68. Now, of course, what's important to know is that this is an average, as the actual prices of drinks can vary a little between one cruise line and another. So at $68 per day, based on my consumption, I'd say that unless I'm going on Princess or on MSC, it's not really worth it for me to get a drink package, and it's best for me to pay a la carte. Your daily consumption also needs to factor in the days on which you are at port. So if you're off the ship for a period of 6 hours, 8 hours, well, you won't be consuming as much on board. So this is definitely a useful tool for you to use to estimate whether drinks packages are worth it or not. And the last thing to verify with drink packages is if one person in your cabin decides to take the drink package, do all the other passengers in that same cabin need to take it as well? So it's important to validate that with the cruise line or with your travel agent. Number 5, managing seasickness. Now, first things first, considering the large size of most of today's cruise ships and the fact that they have very strong stabilizers built in, seasickness is rarely an issue. If there is a storm, captains will definitely navigate away from it, and sometimes will even change the itinerary to avoid it. So unless you regularly suffer from motion sickness, which is a minority of the population, or that you do find yourself in choppy waters for a certain period of time, this shouldn't be much of a concern. Nevertheless, there are 3 ways to minimize the risk of seasickness. First things first, the size of the ship you're cruising on. Of course, the larger, the better. Secondly, location of the cabin. As we mentioned earlier, you'll want to be on a lower deck and midship. Third, there are products that can help. Some people like to take motion sickness tablets. For myself, I like to use these motion sickness patches. It's just a little round skin colored patch that you place behind your ears so it's virtually invisible, and they're good for 48 hours. So you just switch them up every couple of days. So I'll put the Amazon link below for these patches so you can check them out. Now, should you forget to bring tablets or motion sickness patches and you do end up getting seasick, please note that most cruise ships can provide motion sickness pills at no charge, and all you have to do is go ask at guest services. Tip number 6, book excursions and specialty dining as soon as you can. These tend to get sold out, and prices are usually cheaper if they're booked in advance. Now, if you're new to cruising, I do recommend booking excursions directly with the cruise lines rather than with independent providers in the ports, even if they are more expensive. Booking an excursion with the cruise will guarantee that you get back to the ship on time before the all aboard time. With external excursion providers, if there's any type of incident or delay, the cruise will not wait for you. So you need to know that there's always that risk to consider. Now, when we talk about specialty dining, we're referring to restaurants and food venues that are not complimentary. Now, these tend to get sold out as well, so you'll want to book those as soon as they become available. Now, before we keep going with the list, if you are enjoying this episode and you're finding value in this information, I'll ask you for a favor, and that is to please give the video a like, a nice thumbs up. So I'll wait for you to do it right now. Okay, is it done? All right, so let's move on to item number 7. Download the cruise lines app and check it regularly. Now, you want to make sure that you do your check-in as soon as it becomes available so that you get the boarding time that you prefer. Now, a good tip and one that I like to do is I like to set an alarm in my phone for the date and time at which the check-in becomes available. Now, boarding times usually go from more or less 11 a.m. to somewhere around 3 or 4 p.m., so it can really be an advantage to get on board the ship as soon as you can. Now, being on the ship early, you'll get to enjoy perhaps a much less busy lunchtime, maybe get a hot tub to yourself, and grab a preferred sail away spot. Now, on some of the newer ships on the app, you'll also be able to make reservations for specialty restaurants or even book a time at the main dining room if you don't have a specific dining time selected already. And you may also be able to reserve seats to the more popular shows and to some of the onboard activities. Number 8, gratuities. Most cruise lines do charge daily gratuities per day per passenger, including children. You can choose to pay these in advance or to have them charged daily throughout your cruise. Now, depending on the line and the type of cabin selected, the daily gratuities can range anywhere from $14 to $23 USD per person per day. A few lines such as Virgin Voyages, Azamara, and Silversea already include the gratuities in their fares. And if you're booking in certain countries such as the UK or Australia, in those cases, the gratuities are already included in the fares as well. But for most cruises sailing out of North America, South America, or Europe, the daily gratuities will be applicable. So factoring the cost of these daily gratuities is definitely something you'll want to include when you're budgeting for your trip. Important to know as well that most lines do also charge gratuities on food and drinks purchased on board, and these average approximately 18%. Number 9, special requests. Now, special requests can relate to anything from healthcare needs to room layouts. Now, one example of a special need is if you will need distilled water for a CPAP machine or if you require peer wheelchair assistance. Regarding the room layout, if, for example, you're traveling with a friend and you prefer to have the queen bed separated into 2 twin beds, this is actually something you can request in advance. Now, these special requests can be submitted directly to the cruise line while you're booking online, or you can ask your travel agent to coordinate. Number 10, wait until the final payment date to pay in full. Now, final payment date is usually 90 days prior to sailing. And the reason for this is that with most of the major cruise lines, you can actually reprice your cruise if there is a price drop for your specific cabin category. The repricing is only applicable if you're not paid in full. So this is why we say to wait until final payment date to finalize your payments. Okay, now as promised, our bonus item is a quick list of 5 items to pack that are specific to cruising. And for some of these, you'll have the Amazon links below so you can order them yourself. First item, anything you'll need to manage seasickness, whether that be tablets or patches. Number 2, magnetic hooks. Some people don't know, but the walls in a cruise ship, the walls of your cabin are actually metallic, so these magnets hook on very well. When you're choosing magnetic hooks, you'll want to check the weight that each one of them holds, and this will give you some extra storage space, if we want to call it that, where you can just hang your bags or other items onto these hooks on the wall. Number 3, a non-surge protected power bar, ideally with a USB hub. And you'll probably want some long charging cables as there may not necessarily be a power outlet on both sides of the bed. Number 4, I like to have a collapsible laundry basket that I just keep either in a corner or in the closet. And number 5, if you're not getting a drinks package, a reusable water tumbler can come in handy so that you can go to the water fountain or regular drinks fountain and carry that around with you. Now remember, you can order directly using the links below, same great Amazon prices, while at the same time supporting the channel, so it's a win-win. Now, of course, there's so much more to say about the wonderful world of cruising. So to make sure you never miss out on any new content, please subscribe to the channel and hit that notifications bell so that you always know when we come out with new videos and that you're always ready to go.